I'm going to show you all how to make your observations for the moon project right now. Okay, so you have your handout, which you can print off if you would like and record directly on there, or if you don't have a printer or don't wish to print, then you can simply make your observations on a regular sheet of paper. So I'm going to show you all how to make those observations regardless if you're recording them on the handout or on the regular sheet of paper. Alright, so we've got to observe for a few things. We want the time, the date, we need our elevation angle, and our azimuthal angle. Okay, so what is all of that, and how do we make it work? Okay, so first, time is simple, right? We're going to make our observation sometime in the evening. For my example, I'm going to say that the time is 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock p.m. Okay, of course the date is simple too. Today is April the 7th. Put the date on there. Alright, so this next part, we're finding the elevation angle. So this is where you'll need, definitely need some instruction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cell phone here. I'm using an iPhone. There are similar apps on the Droid. You just have to search them up and download them. Okay, so there's this app called Measure. Okay, so it looks a little funky here, but what we want to do is we want to use this other function here, which is level. So I'm going to click on that. Alright, so now I have my level. Okay, see how it changes, and it actually measures the angle that we're looking for. Okay, so that's how we're going to measure our elevation angle. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look out here, I'm going to look for the moon. Okay, so I see the moon, it's up in the sky. Maybe it's pretty close to the horizon, maybe it's well above the horizon. Regardless, this is going to work for us. Okay, so I'm just going to take my phone, and I'm going to side down it, and I'm going to find the moon and line up with it. Okay, so there it is, and it's measuring 7 degrees. It says -7, but that simply tells us which way it's leaning. We know it's above the horizon, so that's going to be 7 degrees above the horizon. Maybe it's a little higher. Got 15 degrees above the horizon. So I'm going to write that down for my angle of elevation. 15 degrees. Alright, so there's no sense in putting above the horizon, because if it's below the horizon, well, you won't be seeing it, right? Okay, so now we need to find our azimuthal angle. Okay, so we've got time, date, elevation angle, and now we're looking for the azimuthal angle. So what in the world is the azimuthal angle? Well, that tells us what direction it is on the compass, north, south, east, or west. So I'm going to get my compass going. Again, I'm using an iPhone. It's a native app on the iPhone. Anytime I've had an Android, they've had a compass app on there, or they're easily downloaded. Alright, so this is what the compass app looks like on my phone. Notice we're not going to be finding north, south, east, or west like this, but instead flat. Okay. All right. So I'm going to turn my camera around here so you can see what we're doing. All right. So there. Oop. Hang on. Let me find it. This is a little weird. Okay. So there we go. We've got the compass, and it's pointing 160 degrees south. Oh, well, that's not lined up with my moon today. I'm going to line it up with my moon, and I've got 147 degrees southeast. Okay, so I'm going to record that as my azimuthal angle. So notice, here's north, it's pointing off this direction. This direction is the direction of my moon. Okay, so as long as you're within a few degrees, it's fine. You can sight in on the moon if you want, or you can just point it that general direction and get a very close estimation. Okay, so I'm going to write that down now. So 141 southeast. And honestly, we really don't even have to write southeast, because southeast, 141 degrees is southeast, because it's measuring from north, which is 0 degrees or 360 degrees. Okay, so there's that. Now, if you don't have a cell phone, or if you don't have a compass on your cell phone, what you can do is you can just use a regular compass, or you can estimate south. Okay, so south would be 180 degrees, west would be 270, east would be 90. So you can actually estimate if you know what north, south, east, and west is. So you could do southeast, south, southeast, east, southeast, and those kinds of directions, and that'll get you within, I don't know, 5 or 6 degrees. Okay, and then also on the elevation angle, if you if you don't have a level for your cell phone, a level app, what you can do, and you'll see my hands here. Just go back a little bit. Alright, so here, okay, so if I line the bottom of my fist up with the horizon, from the top, or from the bottom of my fist to the top of my fist is 5 degrees if I'm holding my fist out like this. Okay, so 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 15 degrees. So I can measure the angle of elevation for my moon like that. Alright, so the next part, we've got our angle of elevation, we have our azimuthal angle. Now what we need is what does that moon look like? Okay, so I'm going to sketch out what the moon looks like. And when I sketch out the moon, let's say it's a crescent, I want to capture the angle of that crescent moon. You know, sometimes you'll see the crescent is on the top, maybe it's on the bottom, kind of wiggled around like that. Maybe it's on the left side, maybe it's on the right side. Maybe it's a gibbous, but you can still see the rotation of that gibbous. We want to capture that in our drawing. So I'm going to pretend like today that we have a crescent moon, and I'm going to just sketch it out. Okay, so there's my crescent moon. I hope y'all can see that okay. My video didn't work out the first time, so I'm using the back side of the page. Okay, so there's our crescent moon. Now what I want to do is I want to shade in. Alright, so I like to shade in the dark part because I think that makes more sense, and it leaves this part, the illuminated part, white, so it makes it look more like it's illuminated. Okay, you can do it either way. You can shade in the illuminated part if you want, but you just have to be consistent so we know what our observations are as we look at them. Alright, so I'm just going to shade this in. Alright, so I'm not going to do it perfect, I just want to get the idea across here. Alright, so there is the shaded part. We've got the non-shaded part, is the part that's illuminated. I've captured that rotational angle that we see, and my observation is done. Okay, so we've spent quite a bit of time doing that right now, but once you do a few of these, 5 minutes max. Okay, let's see. Alright, so that's about all there is to it. I'm going to post a deal on Moodle so you can post your observations. Don't forget to do your observations. That's been a big problem in the past. A lot of students have forgotten to do their observations. I would recommend that you set a reminder on your phone or with your loved ones or whatever, so they can remind you. Okay, so don't forget this, because we want consistent data. All right, so one other issue you might have is cloudiness. Okay, so if it's cloudy, you may not see the moon. Okay, so if it's too cloudy to see it, go ahead and just make your observation that it's too cloudy. Okay, so I think today it's supposed to be cloudy. Look for a break in the clouds if you can. Also, try to take your observations about the same time every day. You'll notice that at some point you won't be able to make your observation at the same time, because the moon phases, moon rise and moon set, changes as the phase progresses. And in that case, I want you to make sure you note that observation, and then observe a little later or a little earlier in the morning. I think that's it. So good luck with this. Don't forget to do your observations, and I look forward to seeing what y'all produce.